Hey everybody! Welcome to Let's Look at This War of Mine. This is not a touchy-feely, this war is your war, this war is my war type of deal. This is more of a dystopian look at what happens. I guess it's not dystopian because it's not like post-apocalyptic or anything. I don't want to get into semantic definitions anyway. It's a side-scrolling survival game, squad-based survival game, set in kind of an unnamed war that's happening in an unnamed country, and what you have to do when you're like under constant threat of bombing and, you know, raids from other people trying to scavenge stuff. It's just a terrible situation, all things together. This is developed by the studio and published by the studio 11-Bit, who you may know for the Anomaly games, and I really thought the Anomaly games, particularly Anomaly 2, was a little bit overlooked. I'm not going to necessarily say underrated, because the people who played it and rated it typically thought it was pretty good, myself included, but yeah, this is totally different. That was like reverse tower defense. This is a, not side-scrolling, but a 2D squad-based survival game. Kind of like, I don't want to say Minecraft in 2D, maybe like Don't Starve, but taken from like a slice instead of an isometric kind of thing. You'll figure it out as soon as we get in here. This is not currently available, but it is coming soon on Steam. Literally, the release date is coming soon. I don't know how much it's going to be, but I've played about an hour of it so far, and I think it's an interesting game, and I want to show it off a little bit, so I'm going to play it. All we do is click Survive. This is the press build. It's lacking some features that will presumably be present in the final game. For example, it does not have a save. It is also supposed to end at day 10, although I don't know if it necessarily does, because I saw Kate playing, and as soon as she ticked over to day 11, I was like, you know, they don't want you to show past that in case you spoil anything. So this is the preamble for it. We are in a war. War can break out anywhere. Get prepared, basically, is what it's saying. And we start with a different kind of squad of survivors every time, but they are drawn... Get used to my mouse pointer, by the way, but they are drawn from, like, the same pool. It also, the game reminds me a little bit of a kind of better version of Zafe House Diaries, which is a game that I played on the channel ages and ages and ages ago, where it's kind of like you're surviving and scavenging in a zombie apocalypse, but this is just your kind of standard war as opposed to that. So let's see what kind of characters we have here. This is our safe house. And as soon as we get in here, we should see what kind of characters we are dealing with and what kind of traits they have, and I can introduce them. When the Civil War broke out, many people thought it would only last a couple of weeks. It took years before government military finally surrounded the separatists in the capital, cutting off all supply lines. Civilian population trapped in the city is suffering from hunger, disease, and shellings. Katya met both Pavel and Bruno before the war. She used to be a reporter, while Bruno had his own television cooking show. Pavel was the star of the local football team, and she interviewed him once. Now they meet in dramatically different circumstances, looking for food and shelter. So Katya is feeling a little bit unwell, and this is our day 1 log. You get one of these every day. War has driven us from our homes, taken away everything, fleeing the slaughter. We meet by chance, taking shelter in this battered building. I don't think I can pause time, so we're gonna have to do things as we go here. So basically the way that it works, if you look down at the bottom right, you can see all of the information about our units here. Use the mouse to kind of pan here. So we have Pavel, he's a fast runner. We can look at his bio as well if we want to. Before this whole mess begun, I lived with my wife and son in the better part of the city. I haven't seen them in a long time. I hope they're okay. I'm not doing so well, as you can see. Who needs football players during the war? Nobody cares about sports when every day can be their last, so I scavenge the ruins like everybody else, hoping for the best. And we can get those same bios from everybody. Bruno's a good cook. Katya has bargaining skills, which actually is important when it comes to negotiating. She's slightly sick as well. If we find some medicine, we should give it to her. And Pavel's a fast runner. So what you do on day 1, at least in my experience with the game so far, is spend some time... and click on these handprints, basically. The first thing that you want to do is scavenge, scavenge everything that you can get. Now, this is everything you can get in your house, especially. We'll just use grab all. This is a survival game. If you are the kind of person who hates crafting, oftentimes I am that kind of person. I can't tell you how burnt out I am on, you know, you just wake up in a freaking forest, and sometimes it's made out of voxels, and sometimes it's beautiful, but you know, punch trees until you get enough tools to make an axe. Like that kind of Minecraft formula in various different ways. I'm so sick of it. But this War of Mine, not to say those games are bad, I'm just tired of them. This War of Mine does things in a slightly different way beyond just the different aesthetic veneer. But the core of the game is still this, you know, crafting, and you basically pick up things like this. Components, you know, kind of nondescript elements. Wood is a little bit more descript, useful for a variety of things. Clean water, you can drink it, you can make alcohol out of it, you can use it to make food as well. Components, you use them to make pretty much everything. As it says here, various components needed to make virtually anything. Nails, duct tape, plastic containers, scrap, and also we got some herbs. We can use those for cigarettes or medicine. We should be having another kind of scavenge here in just a second. Is there anything else that's easy to scavenge? Yes, this right here. We have shared inventory, by the way, so just because one person picks them up doesn't mean that, you know, oh, we have a lockpick and some more components there. Just because one unit picks them up, that doesn't mean that you have to trade them back and forth between your individual units. Your squad's inventory is kind of treated as if it's shared. So we're gonna have our units kind of dig around here, but also have do some crafting pretty soon. We got some sugar there. We can use that sugar to help make moonshine if we want to. Let's go back to Pavel here just by using the tab key. I think we need to craft some more lock picks before we do anything special. So we'll get Bruno to take a look here, and then we'll start doing some crafting. Days start at 6 a.m., and I think they end at 7 or 7:30. We got some raw food here, another lockpick, and some components, including some electrical components. That's good. All right, let's take Katya here, and we're going to get her to start crafting some stuff. Again, crafting is important. It kind of works in like a Terraria. In fact, that's not a bad way to describe this. It's a little bit like a post-apocalyptic Terraria, at least from a crafting standpoint. We can craft important things like a simple heater. Heats the house. There's a temperature gauge. I've never seen it get too cold, but this is important nonetheless. We're going to start by making a metal workshop. And we're going to place that here. And the reason we're going to make a metal workshop is because we want to be able to make shovels. Shovels will allow us to dig through debris and to get to the stuff that's right after it. I think it'll also allow us to make lockpicks. So the game is broken up into two distinct segments. This is the daytime segment where we hang out in our safe house. People can come to our door. Maybe they want our help. Maybe they want to bargain with us. Maybe they want to do something a little bit more nefarious. But your party can grow and shrink in size depending on these events that happen. It's not really... Oh, I didn't mean to click on you there. It's not really FTL-like, even though it might sound kind of FTL-like. We'll make one of these, and you know what? Why don't we have Pavel craft something else here that maybe we could use? Like a simple stove might be useful, for example. We have a good cook. Crude stove, yeah. We have a good cook, so we might as well make good use of having a good cook. Can we put this up here? We can indeed, so he'll build that. Can't make too much with only one piece of raw food, but that's what the nighttime thing is for. Nighttime is for scavenging other people's properties. This isn't online multiplayer or anything like that where people set up their safe houses, then you raid them. If you want something like that, you're probably looking more at like the castle doctrine, which I was not an enormous fan of, but had some cool kind of ideas. Oh, no, you keep building. Sorry, sometimes I mess up my squad management here. It's just against the AI, and it's a little bit more stealth focused, which is cool. I don't really want to build a crowbar. I've never really found a good use for it. I would much rather build a knife once we can get one. But hopefully we never end up having to deal with combat. So, we have a shovel now. Since we have a shovel, why don't you take this opportunity to dig? And he'll probably say something like, thank God, yeah, thank God I got a shovel, right? I'm not sure if we can actually have our units scavenge this. So it's unfortunate that there's like no save function in the game as it is right now, because I'd love to show off things starting at like day 2, for example, because day 1 pretty much always goes the same. But we can go through this, because we have a lockpick now that should allow us to get in there. Just more components. Components, they might seem like, oh, it's just components, but like sincerely, you want to get as many components as possible. They're extremely useful. So our day's about half done here. Don't worry, we'll get to the nighttime segment pretty soon. We got some more herbs and a few more components. We got some basic medicine, some herbs and some sugar. Now these are not only useful for crafting, by the way. They are useful for making trades as well, for bargaining, because sometimes people will just have ingredients that you're not likely to be able to get yourself, so you can trade for those. So we're gonna try to make some beds as well. We can make one bed because we don't have very much lumber right now. We'll just place that right there. We want to make as many beds as possible as quickly as possible, because while we have one person scavenging, we'll probably have one person guarding and one person sleeping, and it's easier, people get a better night's sleep and thus have more energy and perform better if they sleep in a bed. Seems logical to me. Hopefully you agree. You just dig this one up as well. Thankfully we do have the shovel. Is there any place else we can... we might want to make some lockpicks, but instead we're going to have our lady come up here and take some medicine because she is slightly sick. Hopefully all kinds of medicines are created equal. Admittedly, I'm not super familiar with the actual mechanics of how the medicine works in the game. If painkillers are different from, you know, herbal medicine or different from yada yada. We do need another lockpick here. I probably did this in a suboptimal way, but Pavel's going to run up here. He'll make a lockpick that'll immediately transfer to our shared inventory, which will allow Bruno down here to open up this cabinet, and we'll get almost everything scouted here on the first day, except for probably the top floor. Yes, we'll make... I'm going to make one, just for now. Did you not go make that lockpick right away? Did I not click it? I guess we'll see in just a second here. Maybe lockpicks make instantly. Looks like they do. I think I just clicked off the screen, maybe by accident. Let's see what you got for me here. Some books. Books can be useful in bartering, but also I think your characters can read them. What's up, Kate?
Hello.
Hey, I'm playing this war of mine.
I know. Oh, okay. You didn't do something that I did's really dumb.
What did you do?
So when you look down the letter,
yeah,
there was like a bunch of pile of poo-poo right there.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it at all until the end.
So you missed out on like some important ingredients as a result of just thinking that was trash.
That part has 5 gazillion parts.
I'm aware. Yeah, I just got them.
So I'm just like, God damn it.
All right, so here we are at the nighttime. Each different character has some different kind of skills during the nighttime. We don't have a skilled scavenger. One of the units that you can actually get does have the trait skilled scavenger. I'm not sure what that gives. My hunch is that it's just bigger backpack size, because his backpack, when he shows up, is like 15 instead of 12 or 10. But we're going to have Pavel be our scavenger, because his backpack is big and he's a fast runner, which is important for these stealthy segments. Bruno, this is a little cheesy, but I know no one's going to raid us on the first night. Normally you'd want to have someone guard and someone sleep in a bed, but we'll have Bruno sleep, and because Katya is sick, she'll get the bed for tonight, and hopefully we'll get enough wood from our scavenging here that we'll be able to make a second and even a third bed tomorrow. But anyway, we can see what's at these places. So Abandoned Cottage is the easiest one. This house was like a fortress. High walls, alarms, a family armed to the teeth, trembling with fear behind reinforced windows. It didn't help them. On the contrary, the most protected houses were ransacked first. Now it's just another abandoned ruin. Still, we may find some food or useful stuff there. Lots of food, huge amounts of materials, some meds, some parts. We can see the one big difference between like Abandoned Cottage and Ruined Villa or Shelled School is that they say caution advised. This map, by the way, totally looks like Anomaly. I think that's kind of a little bit of a nod from them, or maybe that's just their style. But anyway, we're going to go to Abandoned Cottage because you don't need any caution. That doesn't mean we'll take the shovel and the lockpick, I guess. Lockpicks are one use only, but we'll take it anyway. Let's go scavenge. Yeah, that doesn't mean that we won't run into trouble, but it means we're less likely to run into trouble. So the way that scavenging works, you're unlikely to get everything from a location on your first time there. So you want to kind of prioritize what you want. And I'm thinking components are nice. I would like to get some components. They only stack up in groups of 4, so you got to pay close attention to that. I'm thinking I'm going to take components and lumber primarily. And the reason I'm going to take primarily components and lumber... Oh, we should look through here. It looks like we've heard something there. Maybe not. Okay. Actually, let's go down the ladder here. There will be enemies, and they'll say stuff, and we can actually end up conversing with them and interacting with them in some locations, but I don't think we'll see that in this video because we're just going to see some really early kind of encounters here. So fertilizer, I think, is pretty useful for... bartering, and I don't know what else you'd use it for. Maybe growing herbs and vegetables, but we're not going to take any with us just because our inventory is small. We're going to take gun parts, though, because we can use those to actually help us make a knife, which is an important thing. Now, taking down this barricaded door is going to make some noise here, so it's possible that we may run into someone, and it's totally feasible, by the way, totally plausible that you will end up, you know, getting killed on a mission like this and not coming back. That's why they have this, like, run-to-exit thing that you can use to get out of there as soon as possible, but sometimes that won't even help you. So we're gonna, hopefully, again, wood and components are the most important things. They're the building blocks of pretty much everything that you get in the game. We might drop this one piece of wood. I don't know. We see, like, our inventory fills up super quickly. What is this? Parts. Mechanical parts. Used for building and fixing complex devices. We don't need that right now. And we pretty much only have one inventory slot, so we're going to finish this off and then run away. Yeah, we'll just get one more of those and one more of those, and there we go. That's going to do it. We'll click run to exit, and that'll take us out of here. Occasionally, you can see, like, dialogue boxes that'll appear if you can overhear them as well. But that's our first night of scavenging right there. The scavenging does get a little bit more intense once you get further in, but we're going to see just the first few days here, maybe even only the first couple of days before we end this video. So I'll talk about my overall impressions in a minute, but first I just want to make sure that we're crafting all this stuff, because these are also like kind of a lead-in to let you know how you should handle maybe your first few hours of the game, maybe, not that I'm necessarily great at it. So Pavel has returned. This is good. Pavel has been searching and brought back some interesting things. Did I actually take back fertilizer by accident? That's me being an idiot. But we could use it for bartering, maybe. Pavel is going to be tired, so I'm going to just have him go to sleep in the bed. Bruno slept poorly and is hungry. We didn't get any food. That's like a real problem. And Katya is hungry but not tired. So I'm going to get her working here, and hopefully she'll be able to make a bed. And Bruno, I'm going to have you make a cooked meal, which will at least make you because you're in the best situation here. Or sorry, she's in the best situation here. You're in the second worst situation. I'm going to make some fuel quickly, and by making that fuel, we should be able to make a cooked meal that will sate you. That'll sate your hunger a little bit. And she is going to make one extra bed and place it here, just so if we get a fourth party member, which, spoilers, may end up happening soon, we can at least have 2 people sleep at night. So that's going to take half of our clean water and all of our raw food, but that's okay. If we have someone that comes to the door today, maybe they can barter with us. We can get some cans or something like that. Canned food, I should say. But this is a game where, unlike, at least in my experience so far, and again, I have only played about an hour, which usually ends up being about 3 days from what I've seen so far, depending on how quickly you play. So he's eaten and he feels pretty good. Let's see if maybe... The other thing you could do, by the way, here is upgrade your workshop. And I think that gives you access to other craftable items. Enables the manufacture of more sophisticated appliances, allowing more ways of getting food, meds, or trading goods. We can upgrade it even further to make electrical improvements. We unfortunately don't have the materials necessary right now because we made a bed. Let's see what else we might be able to craft here that's useful. We can make a water filter, but we'd probably want to get like a rainwater collector first. We have others. We can make a radio. That could be useful. I've never actually made one though, so I think I might just save our tools for now. What we should do is maybe make a few lockpicks so we can get through this area over here. I think we need 2 of those, maybe. And thank you for making that bed, Katya. Yeah, this is not a game where, like, at least, again, in my impressions thus far, you're trying to thrive, if that makes sense. This is not like, you know, Minecraft, you start with nothing and eventually you're going to have, like, you know, machine guns they use to shoot enemies with. I know that's not an accurate representation of Minecraft, but you get the idea. Survival seems to very, very much be a struggle in this game. Let's have Bruno lockpick and then dig here. So it's mostly, like, about making these difficult decisions of being like, we've done our best, and yet we still only have, like, these very, very few ingredients. We'll try to dig through this and get up here with Katya, because she's not sick anymore, thankfully. I don't think they'll be using the shovel at the same time, so it should be fine. But anyway, it's much more about surviving than thriving is what I'm trying to get at. This is not a game like Terraria. You start with nothing and build up a castle. This is a game where the ultimate goal is to have survived at the end. So from this chest, we actually got some good stuff. The food will allow us to feed, well, one of our units, so we'll grab it all. And the diamond will be very useful as a bartering tool and is otherwise worthless, which is good to know. I'm going to have... Do we need another lockpick? We don't, so I'm going to have Bruno come up here. So yeah, we'll be able to use that as a good bartering tool, which should be awesome. So don't make the mistake of thinking that this is a game where eventually we're going to have a fortress and we're going to be the oligarchs that are causing the war. No, this is a game where it's, you know, you scrounge and you're eating old canned food that you find or you steal from like an old couple or something like that. Pavel, you're hungry now. So they didn't really find anything here. Actually, you know what? After Bruno does this, I'd like to have Bruno cook and Pavel, because Bruno's a good cook. I think that makes his food maybe more filling. And you can start digging here. And Pavel, I'm going to have you craft a lockpick quickly. Yeah, you know, again, basically I think you get the idea. You're scrounging and saving and just trying to survive, not necessarily trying to build up your own empire or anything like that, which I think is a really cool idea. And I know that a few survival games kind of tackle things in that way. What do we get? We're going to make some more fuel, and then we'll make some more food. A few survival games tackle things in that way, but I think it's still kind of a nice touch, and I much prefer that for the most part, to the sandboxy style games where, is our lockpick done? Why can't you get through there? I can, yeah, tear it down then, lady. Simple barricade I can dismantle. I think we might have a bug here where our prompt to take this door down is not here. Maybe she's trying it right now. No, it looks like she's checking her cell phone. That's unfortunate. Maybe when we come back, it'll be fine. Let's have Pavel eat here. I know Katya has to eat as well, but Pavel's going to be our scavenger, so we're going to have him eat. Exits. Wait a minute. Oh, no, I didn't make the food yet. My mistake. Bruno. Excuse me. Pavel, move. There we go. It is worth noting this is a work in progress. It's not out yet. Everything you're seeing is subject to change. I do think that's a bug, though, which is unfortunate. Our meal will be done in a second here, and we'll feed it to Pavel. How do I feel about this war of mine so far? I like it. I actually find it engaging, and I think it's pretty cool. I do find myself on a lot of days, and maybe this is realistic, but a lot of the daytimes I find myself pretty much just saying, like, you know what, like, Bruno, why don't you go to sleep? But I find myself just kind of saying, like, I don't really have that much to do today. Like, I cook a meal, and maybe I set up, like, a rainwater still or something like that, and then I have a ton of hours left over to just kind of, I click end day, like, super early. On the first day, you do a lot of stuff. On the second day, you do a little bit of stuff, and then after that, you're just kind of, like, dealing with whatever encounters the game gives you. The nighttime stuff is engaging, and it is really thrilling to be in an environment and be like, oh, there's footsteps over there. Okay, I don't want to risk... Hey, take a sleep, man. Like, I don't want to... Oh, you had enough sleep. You just slept badly. You're like, I don't want to risk getting too much more stuff because that could actually, like, come back to bite me in the ass and I can get killed and get nothing. That tension and that kind of dichotomy is, or the trade-offs you make there are really, really cool. I'm glad it's nighttime here. We'll have Pavel scavenge again because he's in the best position and everybody else will sleep in the bed. We're going to go back to the abandoned cottage just because it's the safest area for us to go, basically. You'll take 2 lockpicks and the shovel just in case you need to dig some stuff. So yeah, I find it engaging overall. The question remains, almost all of the games that I've played of it so far have ended up being... We're going to come down this way because we've already been up here. The question will end up being, how much of it is sandboxy, aka like procedurally generated, replayable, yada yada, and how much of it is going to be, you know, once you've seen it once, you don't need to see it again. That's my main concern for it right now, because I've played through the first couple of days at least once or twice, and I watched, I'm going to take like 6 wood here. I watched Kate play through the first 4 or 5 days as well on her stream, and it really seems like once you kind of get it, you got it. And there are slightly different things that happen. Oh, that was just like a mouse over there. Okay, there's slightly different things that happen, but things usually kind of go about in the same way. Like on the 3rd day, someone comes to your door and is like, you know, you shouldn't let them in because they're like, society considers them to be weak. Maybe they're old or not strong or something like that. But you do it anyway, and then they end up being a burden, but also maybe they have unexpected skills that can help you out. And there's all sorts of like moral stuff like this that comes in, like a family photo of parents and 2 daughters. Good that the girls don't resemble their father. He looks like a bear. But yeah, there is some like moral and kind of ethical dilemma stuff that come in. I worry that maybe it'll end up feeling a little bit too scripted and not necessarily replayable. But if it's like a 30-day campaign or a 60-day campaign, what is that's like moonshine? We'll take the medicine for sure. I'm not going to take the bullets though. Kind of a waste of a lockpick actually. The moonshine's good for bartering, but I'd rather just get materials right now. So we'll take 2 of those, which we can do for free, and that's fine. I'm trying to look for some maybe higher prized gear at this point, but we can just take raw materials if we end up having to. I think we want a gun part so that we can actually craft a knife. I don't really worry about the tobacco or the fertilizer. Let's take a look through here and see if there's any, you know, a gentleman or something. There might, if it's an abandoned villa, I guess I should assume that there's just nobody in it. But, yeah, if it ends up being a long enough campaign, I don't think that matters that much. What did I take? Herbal meds? Sure, we'll take herbal meds and another bit of medicine. We got 1 more inventory spot left. We'll take a look in here. It may or may not matter. This might be me saying, you know, it has to be sandboxy because it's a survival game. That might not necessarily be true. Maybe this is the rare example of a little bit more of a linear, scripted survival game. A note that says, on the first day they robbed us, 2 days later they murdered our girls. I shot every one of them, but I don't want to use that gun anymore. It's broken and buried in the backyard. The next part looks shaky. If you're reading this, don't look for me. Ugh. Scary. So where's the backyard then? This is not the backyard. There's nobody in the house, so we can pretty much have our pick of whatever we want. We can't really afford to take any of that stuff. We'll take some extra lumber on our way out if we decide that there's nothing else here that we really want. My overall impressions of this war of mine thus far, I don't think we want that. We'll take more lumber. My overall impressions thus far of this war of mine is pretty much that the game is interesting. I don't know if I've seen enough of it, but it's intriguing, and I find myself looking forward to playing the release version of the game and getting a little bit more of a feel for what the game's about. Because as of right now, oh, there's probably the gun, because I got the clue. Now I can dig it up. Oh, I'm such an idiot. That's the first time I've ever actually found that clue, though. So I think I have a little bit of an excuse there. But yeah, I find myself like really wanting to get more of the vibe of it, but it's intriguing for sure thus far, and I think it's the kind of thing you should have your eye on if you're interested in kind of a unique take on the survival genre, if you're as fatigued with the genre as I am, because my god, I cannot chop down another tree, I swear to god. Pavel has been searching for supplies and brought some interesting things. We got the, some gun parts again. Bruno says he's not feeling very well. That's okay. Pavel, every once in a while, by the way, they get these bio updates. So on day 3, we see all this shelling, sniper fire, and lack of supplies make you want to hide away and sit down and cry. We cannot let them crush our spirit. We have to show them that they cannot take away our dignity. It's difficult here, but do you know how we did it on our street? Does anybody else have a bio update? Not today. We still didn't get any more food, which is unfortunate, but yeah, the other thing that can happen is that overnight, we'll have Pavel sleep, by the way. Overnight, you can have raiders come by, which is why you would want somebody to stand guard. And raiders can take some of your stuff, or they can hurt some of your people, or even kill some of your people. And then, similarly, during the daytime, we'll have people come by that will either barter for stuff. Those are the most useful, because when you need something, it's really, really helpful to be able to trade with it. What did we want to make here? We wanted to make a knife, if possible, from our metalwork station. And again, like I mentioned, you can also have people... We got exactly the right parts. You can also have people come by that just want to become part of your party, and you have to figure out whether they're being deceptive or stuff like that. It's a bit of a light kind of encounter or experience system, like the same way FTL. Encounter system, that's what I'm trying to say there. It's a bit of a light encounter system like FTL, but it does help keep some kind of engaging, emerging gameplay going on as well. But I think that's going to do it. I think that's going to do it for today's episode. I haven't seen any of the... Not today's episode, this Let's Look At. I haven't seen any of the combat because I've been just a little bit too stealthy in my gameplay, I guess. But I did see Kate get involved in some combat. She had a knife, and then she tried to use it against somebody who found her when she was raiding their place, and they just beat the crap out of her with their fists, and she died. So it might not necessarily be like knife beats fists. Oh, someone's at the door. I can tell you probably right away. This is the trader. So you know what? Why don't we do at least a trade here? And you can see what's up. You can choose just to not answer the door as well. I think this makes them ornery. I don't know if it actually causes any kind of duress or like if they're more likely to do something to, break down your house or something. You can build things like barricades as well. I think part of the game eventually will be getting... we're going to try to get as much food here as possible. Part of the game eventually will be like making sure your house is impervious to raids, or at least as impervious as possible. So we got a bartering system here. It's pretty simple. I want the canned food. I want the raw food. I wouldn't mind the medicine and the bandages as well. Let's see. So I'll give you the diamond. For sure. Interesting. You got to be kidding me. Show me some more. Okay. I'll give you the diamond. I'll give you the books. Things I don't need for survival. I'll give you my sugar, because I'm not going to be making any moonshine. I'll give you my herbs. This might be the kind of thing that's just like a little too rich. So if we want to take something out of this, what would we take out? We take out the bandages. And then we take out the medicine, because we've got some of it at least. Oh man, we'd still need more here to get... See, like, it's not like that they're like, ooh, diamond, take all of my food. It's more like, okay, it's a diamond. I can see how that'd be useful, but you need to give us some more. I could maybe throw in the fertilizer, which I don't want. I could throw in a shovel. It won't. Okay, so it says it won't do try harder, which means we're getting closer. And I could throw in like throw in some herbs. Fine, we can have a deal. All right, we'll make the deal. See, like when you trade, you end up getting... It's a serious trade-off. It's not just like, I have too much of this, take it, give me what you want. It's like, I needed these things, but I need that more. So I think it really nails that kind of like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, but we gotta do it anyway. So yeah, that's this war of mine. Keep an eye out. We can close the door on him. We'll dismiss him, I guess. Yeah, that's this war of mine. It's coming out soon, according to the store page. This is the press preview build, which was provided by 11 Bits. It's a very interesting game. I'm not 100% totally enthusiastically over the top on board with it yet, but I'm buying what it's selling. I'm saying I'm gonna check this out and maybe do a series on it when it actually comes out. It's probably the most intriguing take on the survival genre I've played in a long time. No, I have not played The Long Dark yet. I've been meaning to. But in any case, that's there's no calls to action. I mean, you can check out the link in the video description below. It'll take you to the store page. I don't even think you can pre-order it yet. But keep an eye on this one. It's interesting. I like this studio, and I like what they've done with this game. I got a few little caveats, but what I've played and what I've seen so far, I like it. I like it well enough to say that I'll probably invest some time in it when it comes out. So, if you enjoyed the episode, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you want to see more first impressions like this in the future. But for now, thank you from me for watching. And I'll see you next time.